Alright, so yeah, getting back to some ball pit. This game is awesome. I tried it out for the first time yesterday on stream. Quite enjoyed it, and then today tried it out a bit more off stream and found myself playing it almost the entire day. And this game absolutely rules. So I've unlocked a lot more characters and a lot more levels, and right now I've been trying to go back through all the old levels with every character to power everybody up and power up our keepsakes and grind away our buildings so that we actually stand a chance in some of the tougher levels. So I'm trying to remember who I'm trying to clear with. This guy's really interesting. He shoots all of his balls off at once. And I've unlocked where we can run two characters together at the same time, which was absolutely mind-blowing mechanic. And just absolutely opened up the possibilities of this game like tenfold when it was already crazy. Alright, I don't know if this will be a good combo or not, but let's try the Spendthrift with the Repentant. And I'm not going to try the new level yet because I know I'll absolutely get my ass kicked with these guys on that. But I'm missing some blueprints here at the Liminal Desert, and neither of these characters have cleared it, so I'll take a shot at that. Alright. So again, this guy just fires them all out in a spread pattern instead of firing them one after each other like every other character. And then the more that they bounce, they're going to deal more damage. So I guess I need to be worrying about bouncing it off of the side of the walls to really make the best use of that. Alright, so Earthquake synergizes with what we've already got going on. Get a few more levels and evolve that. Alright, Baby Rattle. Gain 1.5 baby balls, but your aim becomes scattered. I like that. More balls is more damage. I don't think that the scattered aim is such a big deal considering this guy fires his aim in a spread pattern already anyways. I'm gonna speed things up. Okay. Let's go with Bleed. Fission hits 4, not bad at all. Alright, get up there. Okay, I like the damage we're dealing so far. I'll go with the pressure valve with a little bit of AoE going. That's one thing we're lacking in our build right now. One thing I like about this game is that the builds that will clear the levels the fastest absolutely are not the same builds that will clear bosses the fastest. You need a whole bunch of AoE and stuff like that to really keep the field clear, but then you get to bosses where you're going on one single target and it kind of flips it on its head, and that's a really neat little dichotomy. It works well. Alright. So now I suppose we upgrade the Earthquake. Then next time that we hit one of the little fission balls, we should be able to evolve. I like that this game just stands on its mechanics. You know, it's got a neat little story and theme and enough to make the whole package really sing, but it's just the gameplay that makes this game what it is. The gameplay and the mechanics it offers. It's refreshing when so many games just seem like completely overthought. And like one of my other favorite roguelikes is Hades and Hades 2, and it's absolutely awesome how they work story into it. But this just goes to show you that all of that narrative stuff, while it's awesome extra that can, you know, work in your game's favor, it's not core to what makes roguelites work at all. Okay, so let's upgrade our glacier. Come on. All right, mini boss number 1. I cleared the latest level that I'm on with 2 characters, but I need to clear it with 2 more to unlock the next one. And so far that has proven to be difficult. So again, the game's got a really neat mechanic where every time that you beat a level for the first time, you unlock a monument for that level, and then that makes it to where we'll get more freeze, to where the more characters that you beat in that level with, all of your characters gain different power-ups. So then going back and beating old levels with different characters, you know, forces you to experience more of the game, more of the different character mechanics, and in turn powers you up to make it feasible to beat the later levels. Really solid game design stuff there in my eyes. All right, power up the bleed, and now we can evolve and make the Vampire Lord. I don't know if I'm sold on some of the vampire evolutions as being the best power-ups in the game, but I'm not sold on them. Still making up my mind on them. Warhorn is always really good. It's especially late game or even later in levels. The baby balls just don't hold up or scale damage wise, and that just takes a little bit of that edge off. Ow. Okay. Lightning, definitely. Alright, fission hits only one thing. Damn it. This is not too bad of a character combo. I don't know that the extra damage from bouncing is really helping us all that much. But you gotta imagine when we have so many stray balls flying around because of the spread pattern from the other character, that we're getting a lot more bounces than we normally would. Alright, power up the lightning so we can get closer to our next evolution. Although I don't think we're going to get enough gems to get it before this one goes off of the board. No. Okay, so fission. Hits 4 though, I'll take that. Coming up on mini boss number 2, feeling pretty good on this run so far. Although these early levels aren't so bad anymore. If I take like a really bad character combo out or just go for a really wackadoodle build with no synergy, I can still lose on these early levels, but for the most part they're free clears. But still fun to experiment with this fusion evolution system and again, experience more of the characters, power up all of the characters. I'm never mad to be playing this game is what I'm saying. Like when I was first watching people play this game, I could see the immediate appeal of it, but I didn't think that this silly little ball game would be in like Game of the Year conversations, which I don't think it will be at like large outlets, but individual streamers, especially people who play roguelikes, I think this is going to very deservedly be in Game of the Year conversations. I'm not a huge fan of Vampire Survivors myself. It just doesn't offer enough in terms of gameplay loop for me. But I can see the similarities between this and something like Vampire Survivors, not just in mechanics, but as far as just being something that wasn't on anybody's radar and just takes people by storm. And again, very deservedly, I think this will be a lot of people's individual game of the year. In a year that Hades 2 came out is a crazy thing for a roguelike. Alright, gotta lock in and clear. Okay. No, I don't. I suppose upgrade our blizzard at this point. Vision only hits one thing, but I think we only had a maximum of 3 things to upgrade. Never mad to see laser. Laser just adds so much AoE to any build, even when you don't upgrade it. It's not huge, but it's enough to, again, just take a little bit of pressure off. It's so much nicer having a run where you get to play on the top half of the screen and not just constantly fighting for your life down there with enemies on your ass. Alright, so at this point we should fuse. Glacier and Blizzard sounds fun. Alright. Yeah, that's dealing up to 400 max damage every time it hits. I think we might have been doing a little better before that fusion, but I just gotta adapt my playstyle and catch that special more so it hits more people. Do I want to dark? Or do I want to level something up, or should I reroll? I've got 2 free rerolls still. I'll take iron. We haven't gotten that in our build yet. More heavy hitting helps when we get to the boss. Again, if you just focus all AoE, then you get to the boss and the fight just takes forever because AoE obviously doesn't do as much against a single target. I think my favorite character so far, even though it sounded really silly at first, is the one that all the balls fire from the back. You can just really wreck things and build some crazy builds with that guy. The danger being that if boss enemies get trapped in front of a bunch of people, that becomes game over in a heartbeat. But that's kind of a fun challenge in and of itself too. I also like the cohabitants, the character where they their balls are split and they deal half damage and they fire in opposite directions. Lots of very fun build opportunities available with that guy. And then Itchy Finger, the character that auto fires and has a higher rate of fire, he just combos good with anybody. Higher rate of fire is just more damage, and auto fire just one less thing you have to worry about playing this game. I think I've got like 3 or 4 characters left to unlock still. I'm pretty excited to see what they are. Alright, now we're at the boss. One last upgrade. No, should probably just upgrade our Vampire Lord. Not that it's going to be doing too much for us this fight. Ow. As long as we don't take too much damage, Vampire Lord should just gain it right back for us too. Alright, so he's about half dead now. There are some builds with like hemorrhage and stuff like that that really just melt bosses in a heartbeat. Some of these more AoE focused builds and stuff, just war of attrition with these guys. Pretty much just dodge his bullet hell nonsense and wait for my stuff to bounce into him. It's not even worth aiming. Or putting too much thought into it, at least. Again, though, I actually think it makes it pretty fresh gameplay-wise that the builds that get you through the levels faster aren't the same builds that beat the bosses faster. Alright, I do need to pay a little more attention here. Wow. Okay, come on, man. I got to yap him when he started that laser attack he has on this last phase, and I just got whacked by it. All right, this is getting a little bit spicy. Health bar on these bosses are kind of deceptive. It's like they've got last little bit of energy tank remaining even after it's over or something. Okay, there we go. Had to lock in. I wasn't as sold on these in-between run stuff on this game, but it's grown on me. Setting things up to bounce off and grow them. It's not compelling from like a gameplay mechanic, but I mean gameplay perspective, but the mechanics of planning out upgrades is pretty cool. Okay, so we got a new character building. 2 new ones. Theater and Rocky Hill. All right, so let's put there to start with. Can we place them both? Yes, we can. And then what I like to do is just move stuff out of the way. And I use this little front section where I launch my balls to just knock out the things I'm trying to build really fast. So where did I set those? Yeah, Rocky Hill. And the theater. Now, when I go to launch, I just launch from here with about a medium angle. I should be able to build them in one turn, I think. Yep, perfect. And then get over there and still get our resources. So that has been my method for gathering resources and knocking out buildings at the same time. I just move things around all the time. All right, so 2 new characters. We have the Juggler, a street performer, starts with lightning, lobs balls into the air at a target position on the field. Balls don't start bouncing until they reach the ground. That sounds interesting. And the makeshift Sisyphus, a former king tormented by time, starts with Earthquake. Balls no longer deal direct hit damage, but AoE and status effect damage is increased by 4x. No baby balls. Well, that guy sounds absolutely awesome. All right, so let's think about this. We've got, I want to take him out for sure. But what would pair well with that? No baby balls. Does 4x AoE. Might just take him out with Itchy Finger. I think that's a plan. I don't know that taking a level 1 character out on the highest level that I have unlocked is the smartest plan either, but I think I'm gonna give it a go. This is gonna be rough. Okay, so maybe need to either level him up or take him out with a character that also has AoE damage to start with. No, we're starting to cook a little bit here. Alright, so we just want to focus on all AoE that's offered to us. So laser, quite obviously. 4x laser, I think, is just going to start deleting people. Yep, that seems to pretty much be the case. Upgrade our laser. It's interesting that the game counts laser as an area of effect. It says so in the tooltips, but I wouldn't necessarily interpret it as such myself. I'll just upgrade this because, again, want to triple down on what this guy does well. If he gets 4x to area of effects, it has no baby balls. Let's just try and go with all the area of effect stuff we can find. Alright, level up 2 of them. I don't even think focusing on evolutions is going to matter so much as just fusing and getting as many different AoEs fused together as we can here. Alright, lightning is more AoE. Alright, so just as I suspected with this guy, rough start, but it's really gonna spiral as we go. I wouldn't say I'm expecting, but I'm kind of hoping for exponential returns with this guy as the run goes on if we play things right. I also think what passives we go with him is going to make a big difference too. Alright, so let's upgrade the Earthquake. Alright, let's make a Magma. Again, more AoE. I don't think this character necessarily has a downside if you play it right. It's all upside. Alright, Freeze, which is also, I believe, a little bit of area of effect spell. Less positive on if freeze counts though. Alright, enemies are definitely getting a little tougher as the level goes. Okay, probably should upgrade our Magma. Magma is a bit of a weird one. They just slowly float up the field, but when they do hit the field, they hit the enemies, they do a lot of damage. Alright, hit our Magma and our Freeze. I don't know that it necessarily comes across watching this game, but playing it, every run feels pretty different. You think, oh, I'm just shooting at this wall of guys, it's going to be similar every time. but honestly not so much. What power-ups you have really dictates how you got to approach it, and the levels, having as many of them as there are and as many characters as they are, just keeps things just varied enough that, again, I've been playing this all day, and it hasn't gotten old yet. Here I am, almost midnight, still going. Alright, projectiles have a 50% chance to reflect upon hitting you. No, I don't really care about that. Protection charm, I don't really care about that. I'm waiting for like the one that increases AoE damage and like pressure valve, because that adds AoE damage on its own. We're going to be freezing enemies and burning enemies, so there's ones that synergize with that and make frozen and flaming enemies take more damage. Those are the passives I'm going to be holding out for. This guy's getting a little terrifyingly close. Okay, so here we go. Increase area of effect damage by 20%. And there's pressure valve. Speak of the devil. Now we get freeze ray. Freeze ray is really good. And I haven't really learned too much about light yet. I just unlocked that one a little bit ago. I'm not impressed with it on its own, but I haven't really figured out the evolutions for it yet either. I'm sure that's where it really sings. Okay, here we go. Like I thought, if we got the right things, even though the beginning of the run was a little rough, the damage should be almost exponential return as we stack all of these different AoEs together. I don't care about breastplate. I guess upgrade the lightning just so that we have fusion available. And let's go ahead and fuse the magma and lightning. I'd love to see some more lasers. We're just dealing so much damage in just large areas of the board. I don't have to think too hard about this. Just sit back and slowly lob shots. Don't think I need to slow enemies down, so just upgrade the magic staff. Again, that's more AoE. That's the game plan here, just all of the AoE. I already beat this level with itchy trigger though, or itchy finger, so this is only going to get us one of the two gears that we need to see an additional level. But I want to see what's next, so I think if we can finish this run, again, that's a big if. I like Cell a lot. I don't care if it's not AoE. Then I think next I'll take out a different character and see if we can't see the next level before this stream is over. I think I've got an hour or two in me tonight. Alright, fission only hits 2. Always a bummer. Alright, mini boss number 2 is approaching. Say this is definitely more lightning, a strong character combo. This was not my experience during my first clear of this level, or during any of my subsequent attempts, obviously, the failed ones. you notice the game hiccuping here and there, that's because I'm playing it on cloud. Works really, really great and flawless for me, like 99% of the time, but every once in a while I start to get little hiccups. Cell or pressure valve? That's the question. I suppose cell. This boss is one of the tougher mini bosses, if not the toughest mini boss that I've come across yet, which makes sense because he's the latest in the game mini boss I've come across. But he's got like 2 phases to him here. And especially with the AoE focus build like this, you know, the 4x damage is helping us, but it still really throws you. He's got quite a bit of health. Okay, there he goes. I think we've got enough time to clear our way still. Flea Feet is always really good. Not as good when you're playing with Itchy Finger. I may just go with Magnet just to help us catch our special balls. Just because, again, with no baby balls, catching these special balls to be able to fire them again faster is important. Alright, another blueprint. Fission. It's 2. I'll upgrade the lightning. Alright, really starting to encroach on us now. But this AoE damage is so insane that it doesn't matter. I don't know if that's my internet hiccuping or what that's causing the cloud gaming to be a problem right now. I think it must be my internet because my stream is slightly bitching at me about the bitrate too, but usually my stream is a really great advertisement for cloud gaming because everything goes off without a hitch. My internet service provider is garbage. I pay for gigabit internet and I get about half of that on a good day, and I get these random fits where it doesn't do what it's supposed to at all. Alright, let's see what freeze ray cell does. In my mind that should like just multiply the freeze ray, but it might also just make the freeze ray make a bunch of cell balls. No, it does split into a clone on hit 4 times. That is wild. Okay. Vertical lasers as well. Just all of the lasers. One of the reasons this game is so addictive, and is probably a point in its favor, but still feels frustrating as it's happening, is that right when your build starts to really kick off and feel amazing, you're coming up on the end of the level. So if you want to get that feeling again, you got to do another one. Again, absolutely everything that you'd want a roguelike to do, though, this game does well and then some, and delivers some fairly brilliant ideas on top of it too. The whole fission fusion evolution system is one of the neatest upgrade systems that I think I've seen for a roguelike. I expect to see probably a lot more of that in other games. The roguelike genre is so iterative of itself. That's like the biggest compliment you can give a roguelike, honestly, is to say that other roguelike designers are going to take your ideas. Okay. I guess just go ahead and... No, we need Frozen Spike. We need Frozen Spike. think my internet's starting to cooperate a little better now, slowly but surely. I tried to switch internet service providers earlier this year and get fiber, but the company was going to leave a cable laying across my yard for upwards of 90 days before somebody came to bury it. So I said, no thank you. I have dogs that run around outside, and I also don't like not knowing how long it's going to take you to come bury it. I thought that your installation, you know, would be all in one. So we stuck with current internet service provider, and tonight it's biting me in the ass. Stream is keeping up though, so it might honestly just be Microsoft's cloud bullshit having a fit. But usually that's not the case. Out of all the cloud gaming services out there, like the Xbox cloud stuff is usually like, unless you're playing a first-person shooter or something, you'd hardly notice. One thing I find interesting about this game is that I feel like the difficulty scaling on the bosses is a little out of whack. Some of the early game bosses challenge me a lot more than some of the later game ones. Ooh, that's rough though. Okay, so don't get caught in between the wall and him without much room. I say as I put myself in that position. Alright, he's getting there. One thing these bosses are not lacking in is health, hit points. Some absolute bullet sponges in this game. Yeah, these cloud gaming hiccups that I don't usually have are really putting a damper in my plans to stream this game tonight. I'm gonna keep pushing and see if it fixes itself, or it might switch over to something that, you know, I own locally. Alright, begin each battle with the choice of a passive. That's awesome. Alright, that levels that guy up twice. Those little upgrades for the characters and their gathering to me is a little bit silly, but it doesn't take away from anything. I just can't imagine ever like racking my brain over that decision. Do I want to collect 2 more wood each time or extend my collection time? Is plenty easy to gather resources already, but that's fine. Alright, so I think I found a couple new blueprints that time. No new housing yet. Don't think I necessarily want to build any of those yet, though. I'll just send my dudes off to harvest and jump into another run. Alright. Forgot that I moved all of my forests up here, so those aren't really getting hit when I do my usual launch. Alright, I need to come up with one more character to beat this level with, and then we can see the next level. Wonder... Alright, where's the guy that shoots from the back? This might prove to be a mistake. Let's do him. With that same guy that we just tried. or no. Spindrift, he's the guy that fires in a spread pattern, but I think that'll actually be pretty good with this fire from behind mechanic as well. So again, the guy that fires from behind absolutely wrecks normal enemies. But oftentimes you come up on the mini-boss and it's a run-ender because the mini-boss gets stuck in front of all the other enemies and your balls just never get down to them and it's just all bad. So we'll see if that ends up happening here. There's some really stupid stuff you can do with the passives though, like stacking criticals to where the normal field enemies just absolutely don't stand a chance. I think I'm going to take my reroll. Or no, you know what? I think Bottled Tornado is actually good in this type of build. Even though that's not normally one of the better passives. It can help negate that problem I was talking about with enemies getting stuck in front of you. Because when you do get balls back, that gives you something you can fire forward. Alright, so yeah, see, here's the principle in action. Even though these aren't bosses and we can take the damage from them, it's not a big deal. They got stuck in front and they hit us. Alright, horizontal lasers always. Okay, those hiccups in the cloud gaming right now are not fixing themselves. Again, it's frustrating because usually cloud gaming works absolutely flawless for me, and my stream is like a showcase for cloud gaming a lot of times. But tonight, it's having these little hitches here and there. Not unplayable by any means, but certainly more than noticeable. Alright, so again, guys get stuck in front of us and there's not a whole ton we can do about it. And when that is a mini-boss that can just deal all of your HP, that's a problem. In the early levels, I've been able to make do with this character and he just absolutely wrecks shit the whole way through. But these later levels, the mini-bosses have proven to be an issue for him. Usually any roguelike though, like, you can make any character and any build work. You just gotta approach it right, you know? See, I want to get this one except from behind. For now, I'll just upgrade our bleed. Alright, sacrifice. I've only made this one once. I'm not completely sure what it's all about yet. So it inflicts 4 stacks of bleed, max 15, and applies curse to hit enemies. Cursed enemies are dealt 72 to 144 after being hit 5 times. So it's basically just another form of bleed. Or it kind of functions more like hemorrhage. I don't think I've ever made poison lasers. What a nightmare these frame hiccups from the cloud gaming are, though. This would be a really great stream otherwise. Okay, upgrade the poison because I really want to see the poison lasers. No way we're gonna get it with this one, so we'll just do fission. All right, upgrade the poison. One more level on the laser, and then our next fission should be able to evolve. It's interesting that poison laser even is an evolution. Seems like the sort of thing that would just be a regular fusion. I'm struggling to imagine what the mechanic there is going to be, but I'm excited to see what it's going to be. All right, so there we have it. So next fusion, we should be able to evolve that. Again, I'm not too sure how to approach this guy with this character, because once the enemies start to fall in behind him, he just gets stuck in front of us and we're not dealing any damage to him. I think maybe with a little bit better build, more DPS, and we'd be able to slice through these back enemies faster. But for now, it's just kind of a slow march to our death right here. Yeah, just none of our balls are getting down here to hit them. Now a few are, but it's probably way too late. Still alive, but for how long? Oh, excuse me. Sorry, y'all. Suppose let's upgrade our sacrifice. We do have our free come back to life with 25% health here, but it doesn't kill that guy, so I think we're still screwed. Okay, yeah, radiation beam. I have seen this one once. This one's actually really cool. It increases the damage of everything after they get hit by the green lasers. This run's probably about to end, so we won't get to see much of it this time. Yep, saw that coming a mile away. Alright, so the guy that shoots from the back, not so hot for this level. Return to base, I'll just do a real quick harvest and then see if I can't figure out what character I can be this level with so we can see the next one. Okay, cool. Our guys made it up into the other corner that time. All right. This will probably be the last run of the night just because of the cloud gaming issue I've been having. But I said I'd go an hour or two. That should take us past an hour, so I'm keeping to my word there. The question is, what character can I beat that last level with that I have not beaten it with? Maybe let's try the bounce guy with the guy that we had a pretty easy time with last time. I think freeze and earthquake may synergize with each other right off the bat as well. Wonder if it's cloud gaming hiccuping or if my capture card is doing something stupid. Might actually be an HDMI issue. No, that's all bitrate and stuff. That's related to my internet for sure. I'll take a free reroll and a lightning. Okay, that's getting borderline unplayable now. I really hope this issue fixes itself soon. Again, I'm playing on cloud, which is usually a flawless experience for me. But tonight that has not really been the case. Whether that's my internet service provider, whether that's actually Microsoft's cloud service, take your pick. Okay. Sure, I'll take a ghost ball. Vision. Hits 3. Use some passives, but I don't want to take ones that I don't like. I'm much pickier with my passives in this game than I am with my specials. So truthfully, all the specials are good. All the specials deal pretty good damage, especially if you play well. Some of the passives are garbage or situational. Of course, as is often the case with these roguelike games, with as many options as there are, they can't all be winners, but also a lot of times things might not seem that good, but I might be missing it. So like, I haven't found a reason to use any of the effigy skills ever, but maybe there's a reason to do that, a build that makes use of the effigies that I just have no idea about. That's what I'd be curious to see, if somebody has a build that actually makes the effigies good and playable. I have not seen it though. Take lightning. Come on. There we go. This is much tougher with this character than when I paired him with Itchy Finger. That extra fire rate helps a ton when you don't have the baby balls. Alright, Vision hits 5, which is awesome. And freeze or holy. I will do freeze because that synergizes with some of the stuff we already have. God, it's so stuttery right now. It's still playable, but noticed I've still had people watching though, so hopefully this is still entertaining enough even with our technical difficulties tonight. There's just absolutely nothing that is within my control at the moment though. Best laid plans, and I think my internet service provider had different ideas for us tonight. Still probably toss this up on my YouTube channel though. I've had fun playing it, and ball pit content has been doing pretty decent generally. First ball pit video I put up has gotten me a couple of subscribers. Yeah, this guy is just so tough. If you don't have good DPS going into that guy, it's game over. Okay, well, we unlocked a couple of new characters. We got our 3rd out of 4 clears that we need on that level. That's not too bad of a place to end it tonight. I really would have loved to keep playing it more, but internet's not cooperating with us tonight. What can you do? Usually it passes, so hopefully be better tomorrow. If it's not, I'll give my ISP a ring and be like, hey guys, you're screwing up my streams.